Downtown between Brush Street and I-375. That's where we're located in the heart of Detroit at Ford Field, which first opened back in 2002. Today, after a topsy-turvy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here, as it'll be the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions. The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in week 2. And they will wrangle it down a couple yards shy of the 30. Here's the first carry for Sean Tucker. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down. This defense for the Vikings, terrific last week in the season-opening victory.
This defense certainly has a lot to be proud of coming off of last week's game, because when you only give up 14 points in a contest, you give your team a great chance to win. The best defense in the league is usually going to average giving up 18, 19 points a game. So to be under that, a terrific achievement.
A gain of 5, good enough for the first down. The Lions had 0-1 on the year following the loss in the opener. And listen, they knew last week they were in for a tough fight on the road. But now here's the home opener and a chance to get things right.
And I like the way that you presented that, because the bottom line is they didn't come out of that loss discouraged. They just came home and said, hey, if we do what we're supposed to do, protect our home turf, we'll be just fine.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. It's a gain of 14 and a first down for Detroit.
I like how they work the tight end on a nice little under route there. And if you're going to give him that much space, he's not going to catch the football. He's going to run away from you a little bit, and that's exactly what he just did there, picking up extra yardage.
On the throw, little too much that time. It's incomplete.
Nice progress down the field, was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
2nd and 10. Ward. Here's a short one to the tight end, Johnson. And he will go out right near the 35-yard line. That's good for a first down, his second catch of the opening drive.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down.
He is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. That one 28 yards on the ground. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space. That's a great run right there on first down. Didn't quite get into the end zone, but now you've set yourself up for at least 2, maybe 3 more shots from close range.
Throwing now, Ward. Now a run here off the RPO. He'll keep it. And he's going to go down. This will count as a sack, a very short sack. Taken down at the 2.
It's now 3rd and goal.
Now Ward, 3rd and goal. He'll try to pick it up himself. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. His 2nd rushing touchdown on the campaign and 4th overall. And the Lions are on the board first here this afternoon. Uh-oh, flag comes out here. This is going to be roughing the kicker.
When you're going back there on the kick block, you've got to go to the right point. That didn't happen. Ran into the kicker. The penalty flag had to come out.
Harrison Beavis to kick off.
After the roughing penalty on the PAT, they'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. And this return going to come to a quick end as he is belted at the end of that one.
Their own 23-yard line.
Looking to put a drive together. They defer to Brown to start the drive. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. Nice way to start the drive. A gain of 12 and a first down.
That's pretty much meat and potatoes right there, wasn't it? Just go right at them and let your big horse charge up the middle. Not too fancy there, was it?
Nothing fancy at all, challenging that defense. And on that go-around, the offense won the challenge. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They go right back to the ground here in Brown. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down. Second and 13. Oh, his first throw of the game going to be intercepted. Picked up by Jamel Dean. And they'll start with great field position at the 41-yard line.
Take over 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line.
They fake the handoff. Now Ward. On the RPO, he'll keep it himself. Airs it out toward the corner of the end zone. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Juwan Johnson, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Lions are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Point after, right down the middle. And it's now 14-0. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they're in an early hole. The first drive, they threw the interception. That led to a touchdown. So decent-sized deficit early on.
It is, but I think you hit the key words early on. So they have to decide, do we even need to change game plan? Or do we just need to execute better and try and get back in this game?
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Operating from the gun, Leonard. That's caught, Puka Nacua. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped.
And the Vikings first down. A gain of 11 on the play.
Well, looks like they'll move things around here. Now on 1st down, he'll drop the throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. You talk about these Lions defense. They enter this one 18th in the NFL at stopping the run.
Always think back to what my defensive coordinator in college used to tell me. Playing against the run is 11 individual battles, man on man. And are you going to win that battle? You're going to whip the guy across from you and get to the ball carrier, wrap him up, and put him on the...
Oh, and his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. They run. It's Tucker. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31.
He's brought down at
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Did he get the feet down? Yes! Touchdown! Christian Watson, his second touchdown on the season. And the Lions take a 3-touchdown lead. The PAT would extend their lead, but there is a flag on the play. And that flag accepted.
Harrison Mevis to kick off.
So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line.
Take over first and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
Looking to put a drive together. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And his throw is going to be incomplete.
And I think we're all starting to wonder with this early deficit, what will that do to their play calling? Do they feel like they have to be more aggressive? Because they're throwing to start the drive here, but it winds up incomplete.
And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
In search of 4 yards here to pick up the first down. From the gun on 3rd down, Leonard. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
Vikings
13 yards on his first catch. It's a first down as well.
Well, these guys certainly need something good to go their way because this first quarter has been something of a disaster for them trying to move the ball. But that completion there maybe can get them focused and moving in the right direction.
And they'll send the tight end in motion here. On first down, he'll drop to throw. And under the Lions' pressure, he's brought down. It'll be a loss of 10. And it'll bring up 2nd. Looking to throw. Leonard. Now he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. We talk about this Lions defense. But right now in the National Football League, they're ranked number 18 against the pass.
They absolutely have to avoid the penalties, have to walk that line between being aggressive and the ones that get you in trouble. The illegal contact, pass interference calls, they've got to make sure that they don't have those. Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
Oh, they're changing this at the line. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. And this one will be touchdown inside the 40-yard line.
At their own 36-yard line.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And Charles, they're really stringing these possessions and scores together early. We're still in the first quarter, but if they can score again here, look out.
Yeah, and as you taught me when broadcasting games, one word we're supposed to avoid, and that's blowout. But that's exactly what's going on here. Down 3 possessions just the first quarter. That goes beyond any worst-case scenario we might have thought coming into this game. And another touchdown here, that should eliminate any hopes for any type of a comeback.
And he'll grab a gain of 5 out of this up to the 41-yard line.
It's a gain of 5. Brings up 3rd and 5.
Buffalo 18.
To throw is Ward. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got him complete. 27 yards there on a very nice 3rd down conversion. 21-0 our score after 1.
1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Second quarter action now from Detroit, and it's the homestanding Lions who have the football. as they've got it with a 1st and 10.
Let's go now.
From the gun, here's Ward. He gets it to Cooks. And he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. A big play that time on the catch and run. And it'll give him a fresh set of downs.
First down. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. That's caught at the 3. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Jake Tonjes from 4 yards out. And the Lions are able to widen their lead here in this first half. The call is to go for 1 and kick the extra point. It's good, and they stretch their lead to 28-0 now. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. Early on, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game, but I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice, but at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So the completion good for 6 yards. And now it's 3rd and 3. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
Yeah, so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. Well, earlier in the game, it was touchdown or interception. Now he got to the check down, a nice safe throw, and a good one. When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
They'll look to throw now on 1st down. And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes. Zach Ball. The blitz works to perfection as he gets in there to dump him for a loss of 8. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on 2nd down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. He's going to sling this deep downfield. And that will be incomplete. Trying to dial up the long way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
As we've seen, their first 2 drives didn't yield anything points-wise. Certainly feels like they think to themselves, it's time to open this thing up, taking the big shot downfield.
The Vikings on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line.
1st and 10.
Boy, so another interception, CD, and it feels like he's starting to unravel a little bit.
And as you would expect, still a work in progress here in his 2nd season. He has to start ironing out some of these mistakes, though, because now his head coach, his offensive coaches, they have to evaluate whether you keep playing him and let him work through it, or you start thinking about going to his backup.
2 minutes gone by, 2nd quarter.
1st and 10 at the 22.
They go play action with Ward. And he just gets rid of it. Throws it away. The lines move there. Look like nobody open. Now 2nd down.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal.
Take it up. You're embarrassing.
And now they'll shift things around. Play action now, Ward. And he whips that one incomplete there.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Ward to throw once more. Complete. It's Johnson. Well, I don't think he got there. No. He's short by maybe a foot. Maybe. Call it 4th and inches.
70. 60 Eagles. 60 Eagles.
Now Ward on 4th down. And they hit him as he throws, as this one's going to go straight down to the turf. Incomplete. The Lions turned away on 4th down. And it'll be a turnover on downs. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Charles, these early season in-division games are always interesting because you're still kind of figuring yourself out, but you want to know as much as you can about the opponent, especially when it's a division matchup. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this one plays out.
Yeah, that's a good point because they're still trying to work things out. They don't know everything about their own team, let alone trying to figure out their opponent. But you've got to do both on the fly, don't you? While the game's being played, figure it out both ways and try and find a way to win.
Pitch and catch there good for 13. And they'll be faced with a 3rd and inches. And the slot man goes in motion left. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. He's got his target. That's complete. And he will have a Vikings 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. It's been a very one-sided game so far. They got to change what they're doing right now, don't they? You can't wait till the halftime speech to make an adjustment.
No, you can't, because if you're doing it right, you're adjusting from series to series, and they need a big adjustment here to try and put some points on the board.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. Back to throw now on 1st down. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A big play there with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Vikings are able to cut into that deficit. Extra point up and good by Sanders. And it's now a 28-7 ball game. Well, it is still a lopsided score, so they're going to try a second quarter onside kick. And the Lions are able to cover this one up. Well, CD, you understand. I mean, they're so eager trying to get back in this game near the 4th quarter, but they touched that one a little too early before it went 10 yards.
Brandon, in such a high-stakes scenario, everyone's feeling the pressure on this play. The special teams coordinator, which one is he going to pick in terms of kicks? Can the kicker execute it? Can the team wait for 10 yards? So many variables, and in this case, they didn't get it done. And a really nice play call there to start the drive, especially if you're a team that has a little bit of a reputation for throwing it downfield. You come out and you think maybe you can catch them off guard a little bit, and they did. Little screen pass, backdoored them, and that time worked well for a solid gain.
Here's Tucker, complete on the right side. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. That's good for 28 yards. A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. Now he's going to, and he'll get into the end end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Cam Ward, a 5-yard touchdown run. As his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further. Extra point right down the middle. And a round is on here in this first half. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And he returns this to the 22.
On the return, the Vikings take over first and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway.
And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. He sets to fire deep. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Well, they have that one snipped out defensively. That's a tough one to connect on when you got multiple defenders in the area, and it winds up incomplete.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked up by Jamel Dean. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10.
34-yard line.
Ward off the play fake. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front. That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way, a dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense, because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well. Open man is Tucker. And down inside the 15 he goes. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Here's Ward. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. 2nd and 5 from the 8.
It's a gain of 5.
Now they'll change things around before the snap.
At the Vikings 8-yard line.
Out of the gun, Ward. And he's got it. And in for the Lions touchdown. Juwan Johnson, a beast in the red zone with his 2nd touchdown of the game. And the Lions will extend their lead in the final minute of the half.
Makes the score.
Extra point splits the uprights. And a round is on here in this first half. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away. And they will be backed up deep. Trouble here as they're going to start this drive at the 6.
At their own 6-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And they'll begin inside their own 10, so field position certainly not in their favor here. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line.
2nd and 12 at the 4-yard line.
So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break.
Harrison Beavis to kick off.
The Vikings set to receive the second half kickoff, and they trail it here as we resume play. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And they have a mountainous deficit looming in front of them. It was really, Charles, a disaster in the first half, so where do they go from here?
The first thing you have to remember is that what's done is done, and there's no going back. And now you have to play this drive by drive. Obviously, come back in this spot, pretty unlikely, but you still have to go out, take pride in your work, and try and put something together here in the second half.
Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's going.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
This defense just continues to bottle up that ground game. And look, I mean, the deficit right now for this offense is so big that it might not matter. But you're still in the third quarter. They're probably going to have to try things through the air, Charles.
I agree with you totally. That's what they'll have to do. They do need to run it occasionally to take a few hits off the quarterback, because right now, you just know those pass rushers are fired up to get after him.
And it's going to be another first down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 36. And they're able to convert on third with a solid gain of 23.
It's a gain of 23 yards.
On 1st and 10, here's Brown. And that one opened up for him well as he'll take this down to the 26-yard line. Another strong gain on the last 2 plays. They moved it a combined 33 yards. Work to do here to avoid falling to 1-1, but this is 1st and 10 right now. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked off by Quan Martin. And the Lions are going to get it back here just shy of the 20.
Veterans pass intercepted. The Lions take over 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Off the play fake, Ward. Now he'll tuck this and run. Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it. And it's 2nd down.
It's not like pressure to affect the accuracy and the timing of a guy trying to throw the football. And on that play, they ended up flushing him to his left, contacted him as he's trying to throw the football, and that led to the incompletion.
Let's go now.
Play fake, here's Ward. His throw incomplete.
Nice back-to-back plays defensively. They're stacking momentum now. 1 incompletion, 2 incompletion. They're going for more.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Now Ward. And this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
Oftentimes when you're losing a game and the team's still throwing with this kind of a lead, you start playing a little more physically. And they took that opportunity right there to be extremely physical and force that incompletion.
Now on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. 31 yards on the punt there.
And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10.
First and 10 at their own 48-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
And every game that's ever been played, all coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball, and it certainly did, especially on the scoreboard.
He'll try again with the arm here on 2nd down. He's across midfield. And he'll go down inside the 45 before going out of bounds. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
And that doesn't have to gain big yardage to be an impactful play, because if you get those pass rushers second-guessing themselves that they might get hit with a screen, maybe you can wind up slowing them down just a step. And if you do that, that's a win for that play.
From the gun on third down, Leonard. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. So another incompletion there. He's hitting on fewer than half his pass attempts in this one, and that is not a winning formula.
Yeah, so let's make sure we give a little bit of credit to the defense here. They're giving him a lot to think about, a lot of different looks, and he seems a little bit confused trying to complete passes.
I guess they figure they got to start taking some chances. Here's a big one in this third quarter as he'll go for it on fourth down. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Vikings unable to convert here on fourth. And that will force a turnover on downs. The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. Throwing is Ward. Here's Johnson with a reception. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
First and 10 at the 28-yard line.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up first and 10 as they've got it to the 28-yard line. Again, it's Johnson. And he takes this one in for the Lions. Touchdown. Juwan Johnson, his third touchdown of the season, all coming in this game. And the Lions have taken a 6-touchdown lead.
Vikings 7.
Now as they line up and kick this one away. Breaks through the contact. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. And a drive that stalled out last time. Went for it on fourth. Didn't get it. How does that translate here? I would imagine momentum's with the defense.
Definitely with the defense, because anytime anyone goes for a point down, that's telling you as a defense, you can't stop us. We don't think that you can. And when you actually do, that may put a little dent in the confidence of the offense the next time they hit the field.
Yeah, we'll see if they can bring that pride to the offense this go-around. They'll look to throw here on first down. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion. And that's going to bring up second down. Back to throw. Leonard. And now here's another interception. And the Lions are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
They decided the opportunity was there and launched a deep ball, but he was unable to get away from the defender, couldn't create space, couldn't uncover at the end of the route, and that one winds up incomplete.
So second and 10 now here in the third quarter from Detroit.
Let's go. Panther 60, Panther 60.
Ward. And this one incomplete. Threw it down at the feet of his receiver.
Well, they approached this drive with a lot of confidence after the last one ended up as a touchdown. But incompletions on their first two throws has them huddling up and trying to figure out a big play here on third down to get their momentum going again.
19 tight.
Ward from the gun on third down. They'll complete this one to Watson.
And he'll be out just a yard or two shy of the 30. Great way to convert on third down there. 21 yards to play.
Things looking much rosier for him here in week 2. They work with the lead as they've got it 1st and 10.
And he's got his man in stride, complete. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. The catch and run, good for 18 and a 1st down.
Another nice play there. They've gotten down into the red zone in no time at all. That's what this offense can do when they get on a roll. And now they're set up with a 1st and 10.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. To the air again, Ward.
A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
I think he had to hold that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really.
Here's 2nd and 10. To throw is Ward. He finds his receiver, Watson.
And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit.
Christian Watson.
His 2nd touchdown of the game, his 3rd on the year.
And the Lions extend their lead yet again.
Point after, right down the middle. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter. Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away.
And he's going to be stopped cold. Good coverage there by the kick team to bring that return to an abrupt halt.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
It's a game that they would rather probably forget about, at least to this point, Charles. And one reason is turnovers. A turnover on the last drive. They had the issue in the first half as well, and that's really, unfortunately for them, helped to put this game out of reach.
And you know they won't admit it to themselves, but we know that winning the game is pretty much out of the picture now. So their bottom line is, how do they play a clean game the rest of this one, right? Take care of the football, no more turnovers, and see how that works.
They'll run for the first time here with Brian Robinson.
And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
And my goodness, another interception. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick. And a huge return as he'll take this one all the way down inside the 30-yard line. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
Throwing now, Ward. That's complete to Chisholm.
And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown.
Hefted Chisholm
from 19 yards away.
And the Lions get another 3rd quarter touchdown to add on to that lead.
For the extra point.
Extra point right down the middle. And the lead grows even larger here in the 3rd quarter.
63, Vikings 7. Harrison Davis to kick off.
Here are the Lions now as they line up and kick this one away.
And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. They are looking to make a bit of a 180. They are sputtering right now.
And frankly, I think it's time to call your playmakers together and say, all right, guys, we're going to lean on you through this patch. We need you to get us back on track and get us going in the right direction. So you're calling plays geared to them. Not necessarily what you look at your approach, oh, this hurts the defense. I want the ball in the hands of X, Y, and Z and see if we can move forward.
So don't get too cute. Go to the playmakers. We have played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Looking to throw. Leonard. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. From the gun on 3rd down. Leonard. He finds his man. Complete. That's Reed. And he will have a Vikings first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Well, a touchdown here on this drive, it wouldn't really put much of a dent in the score, the deficit right now. But as you mentioned in the past, CD, their coach is probably just hoping to see something executed correctly on this drive before we close out the ball game.
Yeah, and I think that every guy who's on the field has to feel exactly the same way, because if not, they might be looking for replacements. Treat every drive as if it's your last and make it a successful one in some small way. Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bottling him up defensively. And now it brings up 3rd down.
And 9 yards to go.
Back to throw. Leonard. And it is caught. Touchdown, Vikings. Jaden Reed, 58 yards. And the Vikings get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this 4th quarter deficit. Flag comes out here. This is going to be roughing the kicker.
When you're going back there on the kick block, you've got to go to the right point. That didn't happen. Ran into the kicker. The penalty flag had to come out.
So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And they've got it. They recovered it. Wait, hang on now, though. There's a penalty flag down. Yeah, we saw that one up here, CD. Offensive team, they touched that before it went 10 yards.
Obviously, such a fine line, letting it go the required 10 yards, but also getting to it before the hands team can. Just didn't time it out right, and that results in a flag.
And they will only muster a yard here to the 38. This defense starting to buckle down when they need to, and right now they're winning this 4th quarter, losing the game, but they're winning in the 4th quarter.
And what a fine line it is about what they're trying to get done, because they're down, so they obviously need the football, need a score, but they can't be so aggressive as to give up their edge, their gaps, and have the offense hit them with a big play.
From the 38 now, here comes 2nd and 8.
Buffalo 18. Ready?
They fake the handoff. Now Ward. Oh, that'll be incomplete. Well, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down. But Charles, they're still airing it out at this point despite that huge lead. And some people may be saying, well, why are they throwing the football? These guys, I guess, are just padding their stats at this point.
Yeah, there are a lot of big grins, I think, from people in their families, from themselves. You're exactly right. You have the stats when you get an opportunity. It'll certainly help become contract time.
That's good. For a Lions first down.
Here's Tucker.
Oh, he sheds himself free. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. 73 yards rushing now on 8 carries for him so far. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game.
That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Things are rocking easy here in the fourth quarter. They've got to feel pretty good about this one. Actually, they've got to feel excellent. Tough loss in the opener. No way they wanted to go 0-2.
I don't want to read too much into it, but psychologically, is there something much bigger about 0-2 than 0-1?
Oh, without a doubt, and here's the biggest one. Guys like you and me, all the media, are going to talk about, well, you know how hard it is to make the playoffs when you start 0-2, and that starts to work its way through a team.
And now they're working towards 1-1. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. They do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and then try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. 2nd and 11 now. Looking to throw. Leonard. That's out wide here for Robinson. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 2. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Boy, and now they can't even get a playoff.
Well, everybody was up there ready at the line of scrimmage, CD, but no snap, and the delay of game ensued.
Yeah, and I'm sure their head coach is asking the exact same thing. What's going on out there? Almost like they thought they had more time than actually was on the clock.
From the gun on 3rd down, Leonard. Working the middle of the field. He's got a man complete. It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. Now, this is certainly one of the bigger losses that we are going to see for quite some time. And you have to think at this point where we're at in the fourth quarter with how wide this advantage is. For this offense, they're just trying to end things with a positive drive and then get the heck out of here.
Yeah, if this had been a contour, you would have heard plenty of sour notes in this one. But they certainly didn't want to end it on one. They want to get a few more throws like that and at least have a final drive to give them a little bit more hope as they move forward.
Vikings, first down. 1st and 10 at the 49.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And now here's another interception. And the Lions are going to have great field position here as this is returned just shy of midfield. Yet another mistake after the interception there. And gosh, you look up at the scoreboard, they just got to be thinking this one cannot get over fast enough.
It certainly can't. And also what happens when you get this big of a deficit, you're supposed to make all the right throws, right? You're supposed to try and obviously get the ball to your own guys. But being down this big, you also take even more chances. And in this situation, that hasn't paid off for them at all.
On the other sideline, jubilation and laughter.
Their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns, and it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense pretty happy because that gives them all a chance to pad their stats a bit. But as far as the actual need, you and I both know they can just run this clock out because this one, it was over a long time ago.
And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a first down. An effective play there, getting their wideouts involved in the run game.
And what they're always hoping on that type of a play, that they can get to the end of the line and have a chance to turn it upfield as he did there. That means they controlled the blocking and took care of the defensive end of the outside linebacker to give him that lane.
And I guess I need to clarify, I said getting their wideouts involved in the run game, but of course that was actually a pass as he popped it forward. And they'll let the quarterback keep it here on 1st and 10.
And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call.
That's Jawan Taylor, the right tackle.
And the punter's on the sideline. Here's the field goal unit now to try an exceptionally long one. And, folks, this is a 67-yard attempt. And this is good. It was running out of gas there at the end, but he winds up getting just enough on it. Charles, a new NFL record, 67 yards. There has never been one converted from that distance until this very moment. Unbelievable. Congratulations to it.
And, partner, there's no way you or I woke up today thinking, hey, we might see a 67-yard field goal made, let alone attempted. Congratulations. Great job. And remember, it all starts getting that kick away, because often it starts low. Usually that's when it can be tipped. Not in this case, a new NFL record.
The Minnesota offense about ready to get this next drive underway. On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. And he is going to be stopped here for no gain, and that is going to be the final play of this football game. So this one's over. It's a win for the Detroit Lions, and it was a game where they were off and running in the first quarter, Charles, and never looked back.
You know, partner, after a while,